Okay, here's the next radio on bench, and it's a beast. It's a Silvertone multi-band radio, and it is huge. Look at that cabinet. And we'll take a better look at it in a minute, but I wanted to show you this dial. Get a light over here. It has foreign and American, and the American, of course, is the AM band, but then it has, I guess those are pre-select buttons. They're kind of out of kilter, but it says on there, Omaha, New York, Nashville, Cincinnati, Detroit, Atlanta, Chicago, just all different stations marked on the bottom. Sorry about that. And, just a whole bunch of them. St. Louis, St. Paul, Buffalo, Cleveland. And on the top, we got England, Mexico, Japan, Costa Rica, Prague, Germany, just all over the world. And it has an eye tube. And this one is going to be interesting. I've never tackled a radio like this one. I haven't seen one actually. So it's going to be interesting. Now the cabinet's in pretty good shape. There is some damage here in the front bottom. Of course, we got the the Resident Evil of the previous occupants who lived on it and left their signs. Cobwebs everywhere. There's been some shrinkage of the plate here. As you can see, the stain on the original there. And it might be that this just shrunk. I believe it is, because it looks like the original case. Or it may have just dropped down some. I see a little hole there in the back of that hole on the cabinet and one over here. So I would think that the pins just fell, but I'm not sure. And there's a hole there on the side. It could be that this is a different plate. However, this looks shrunk in here, like it shrunk in. And this side doesn't look so much like that. Plastic, as it gets old with age, shrinks. So, we got that. Got a few nicks here on the corner. And like I said, it's a huge cabinet. I mean, that's about 2 feet across. Nice rounded side here and a flat end there. That's the grill cloth. Has a hole in it here. Might be able to patch that up, make it look a little better. Just the cloth just deteriorated with age. Has a blemish here, and looks like somebody has repaired it at one time, because that looks like it was glued in. Some spots down around here. But not bad wear for a cabinet of this age. How old is it? I don't know. I haven't looked at the model or pulled up the schematic. We're looking at it together. So let me turn it around, get everything out of the way. Okay. And this is the inside. And what it is a model 4669. And the chassis sits on these rubber bushings. That's pretty neat. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got IF cans there. It's got a filter capacitor back here, another filter capacitor here, 3-ganged tuning condenser, some kind of paper in there. See if I can get that out and see what it is. $6K7. Somebody had worked at it at one time and they said that it was good. So I'll keep that as a reference, that the 6K7G is good. And somebody has added another speaker. Apparently that speaker has got some problems or some damage, and They just threw in this modern speaker, moved that speaker up there, which was over that hole at one point. There's the other tube, the I tube for the tuning circuit. So that's 7 tubes. So it may be a super heterodyne that's not All-American 6. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the model, like I said. 70 watts. Wow, we draw some power. Okay, well, I'm sure these filter capacitors are shot. It uses a 636 output amplifier, probably 2. That might be a 636 there too. It's got a paper on the tube itself. And good old RCA Radiotron tubes. Anyway, before I pull it out of the cabinet, I guess we will put it on the variac and bring it up slowly and see if we get anything out of it without on a current limiting bulb. Not sure about all this stuff, but we'll check it out as we go. So give me a minute to turn it around and plug it in, and we'll see what we can find out about it. Okay, I got it plugged in. I haven't turned it on yet. I did notice that the dial indicated it has dropped. This shaft is bent on the volume control. As you see, it wobbles there. It's hard turning, probably rubbing on something. Disc seems to be really moving stuff around. Well, that goes to that indicator there. So we'll leave it on AM for right now. Oh, I see. Okay, we'll leave it on the AM band. And then this, I don't know, that's some kind of selector. I don't know what it's selecting. The dial is interesting. This turns the main dial. So I'll put it somewhere near the Cornelia station. And this one, which is not working very well at all, actually, it's just barely, is fine tuning. So you can set it to where you want it and then tune it in. Interesting. Okay, we got it off. I'm going to turn the volume up. Actually, I'm going to turn it on. Turn the volume all the way up and turn the voltage up slowly and see what happens. Okay, I'm right now at 40 volts. We're drawing 230 milliamps at 9 watts. And the water just dropping, 8.5, 8.4, 8.3. You see it going down there. So that's good. 8.1 watts at 45 volts. We'll bring it up a little more. Okay, I'm getting some sound. I'm sure there's all kinds of problems with this radio. 250 milliamps is drawing 18 watts of current. Of course, I got my current limiting light bulb on. Not seeing any shorts in there. Okay, slowly bring it up just a little more. Okay, it should be conducting there, 22 watts. So if there's anything coming in at all, no. This is going to be a long repair job. No static at all. There used to be a song in the 70s, right? No static at all. Anyway, okay, I'm going to power it down, turn it around, take the chassis out, and start tinkering. So we'll be enjoying this video. This is going to a series of videos. This is going to be an interesting radio, to say the least. I'm not sure that I can repair these that are broken and missing. Some of them are broken. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it ain't too bad. Just 3, 4 of them are broken. The others are blank. And some have call letters in them. Interesting. So I'll be back after I remove it from the case. Okay, I got this baby out of the cabinet, and that was strange. There's another GY3 tube that was marked good. GY3 glass tube, that's the one I could feel the paper on. There's some kind of weird thing going on there, I don't know. This has got, it looks like somebody soldered an extension on this shaft here, which is okay, the knob was working. This is the rotary dial, which is working a whole lot better now. And the fine tuning is working, so apparently it was rubbing on something, and I'm glad that's all working. I'm going to treat that with kid gloves and stay as far away from that as I can. There's 2 missing pilot lights, one there and one there. There's 2 up here, which I doubt work at all. And then the tubes, of course, will have to be tested. And let's see what else we got. Take a look in there. Look at that gear assembly. And look at the dial cord. It goes around a whole bunch of pulleys, including that one down inside there. And it's got a big old spring. Like I said, I'm going to treat that with kid gloves. I'm going to pray over this radio that the string never breaks, because that would be a nightmare to repair. So it's working. I'll gently clean it off with some air and get all that junk out of there. Kind of grease and oil those pulleys and gears that turn. And it's a direct drive right to the shaft of the capacitor, which you can see is nasty down in there. Needs a little bit of cleaning and definitely some oil. You can hear how rough it is. These coils, I don't know. Hopefully that coil's still alive. We got a tube here, so we got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tubes. I have to pull up the info. But that's the top. Now to get to the chassis is going to be fun. Big old transformer, so probably got a lot of taps on it. We have to check the transformer and check the coils before we go doing much of anything else. That's the 5V3 back there, GT. And this is a 6L6 up here, amplifier. Got a mixer and first the IF amplifier, another IF amplifier. I'm not sure, detector, amplifier, preamp, and just everything. It's just amazing. It does have the tube layout there, so I can verify that it's got the correct tubes in it. Of course, I'll know when I pull up the schematic. But boy, oh boy, what a set. And that thing is just amazing. It is huge beyond belief. 3/4 inch plywood wood construction. The top is a solid, I don't know, that's about 1 1/8 inches, maybe an inch and an eighth. Same with the sidewalls. Sidewalls are about 1 inch thick. 3/4, it looks like it's 3/4 with a 3/8 over it. Well made, mitered. This is the flat edge. Look at the side, the detail in that. A little bit of a mix there, and this corner has some damage down here. But all in all, in good shape. Some junk come out from there when I took the chassis out. It looks like somebody cut a hole in there to get to the bottom. Looks like this part of it is factory here. but then it looks like someone took a drill and drilled a whole bunch of holes all the way around, including there, and then like chiseled it out to make it bigger. It's just strange. There's something else I noticed is somebody has reworked this. That's why it's not fitting. It's not the right cover. And they put a washer and a nut there and a washer and a nut there. Glass is too long for the opening. Sticks out past the end of the frame, and there's a washer there where the bolt busted off, and this one don't even have the bolt. A little stub of it there, broke off there, broke off here. That's okay. We might be able to make that look a little better, move that up some and try to close that gap and maybe get a glass that would fit in there. So I just wanted to document that before we went too much further. Somebody has redone the grill cloth, so apparently it's not the original grill cloth, or they serviced it somehow and took that speaker section out and did that. So those are two things I missed in my preliminary check. I just wanted to add them into the video. Let's take a look at the bottom. I'm going to have to pause the camera and rearrange it, but we'll see what it looks like inside if I can get it to balance. Be right back. Okay, here's the bottom. And somebody has worked on it. Well, now we know why they etched that hole in there. That was to get to these pre-select tuners, to tune the pre-select channels. Somebody's dripped solder all over the place. Look at a piece of metal solder wire still just sitting in there. They didn't clean it out. It's on the wires. They didn't clean it off the wires. Look at this. And they just left it there. This is shoddy workmanship. I mean, look at that. That could have shorted out on anything. Look at this. That's just a joke. They bypassed this electrolytic capacitor, and looks like they used these guys. And with this high voltage transformer, it's high voltage, and they just let this dangle around. They didn't put it on a strip or anything, or tie it to a terminal. They left these long wires on it, which were probably the original wires. And that's just not good. And I mean, you know, when you're dealing with something like this, I guess you get a little bit gun shy. You try to take shortcuts because you don't even want to think about messing something up and then having to figure out, troubleshoot it and figure it out. Get some coils here, of course, for the pre-selects. They put this line cord in. This is an additional line cord that was added at a later date, and this cord is old. I mean, really old, probably 60s. But these were done recently. These are Nichicon capacitors, probably good. This one is a NTE, never heard of them. 33 microfarad at 450 volts. That is huge. That's probably bad. Actually, these are probably bad too. 47 at 450 and 30. Yeah, these are old. They're Nichicon, but look how the size of those jokers. Well, that'll clean it up when I put some new ones in there and get rid of those things. I'm sure they're probably shot anyway. They did put a drop capacitor, polyurethane capacitor. It's got dog bone resistors, gigantic dog bone resistor. And throughout, it's got different wattage dog bone resistors, and they're probably bad, but we'll check them as long as they're close to tolerance. I'm not going to deal with all of those. That's just too much. We just need to get it going, get it playing, and one thing at a time. If I find any that are way out of tolerance, we'll change them. If they're close, you know, this should be fine. Some of them stay really well. Some of them drift. Problem is trying to figure out what wattage these things are, and then, you know, trying to find similar values today with the same wattage is, sometimes you have to put two in parallel or two in series. A lot of wax capacitors, they're Spragues, so they're going to have to be changed. They're not all Spragues. Somebody must have changed that one already, which is bypass to the chassis. These are tubular, never heard of them, tubular capacitors. And that's the radio. That's what we got. So the first thing I need to do is pull a schematic. This is going to be a slow process. I have to pull a schematic, check the voltages on the transformer, check the coils, make sure there's continuity, check the tubes, make sure that they're working okay, and they may be older than my tube tester will check. Some of them, I don't know, they look like standard 8-pin sockets. So it's the oversized heaters that I have an issue with. So it's just a very bulky radio and well made. Apparently that shaft broke off and somebody just soldered the piece back on, which is okay. Yeah. And this is the band selector switch here, which moves this arm and puts the pointer on what band is on, and if there was light bulbs in there, you'd see that. The fact that those light bulbs could be burnt out may be an indication that the rectifier tube is short, because a lot of times they use the rectifier tube as a fuse with the pilot lights, and if the pilot lights go out, the rectifier goes out. But I don't think so. I was hearing crackling in the speaker, and I don't know what that deal is, but we'll leave it like that. I'm assuming that when they did it, it worked, or they wouldn't have left it. I hope that's the case. But we'll leave it like that until we, until we get the system working, and then once we get the unit working, then we'll check the impedances on that original speaker. I'll go ahead and check the coil, check the coils and see what's going on. It might be that that speaker is salvageable. I don't know. It depends what's wrong with it. And this modern day speaker is just unbelievable. It's a Radio Shack 5.5 inch. I think if I was going to jump it or replace the speaker, I would have put a transformer for 8 ohms and used an 8-inch speaker. But if that one can be salvaged, that would be nice. And of course I need to check with the owner and see, what kind of budget he has on this unit, because this is going to take some time and some expense. But we'll get started on it. For phase 1 is get the schematic, so that's where I'm at too. And then phase 2 is check these coils and the transformer. I'll probably check the transformer anyway, but I need the schematic to know what resistances I should have on these coils, but we'll see what we can do. So that's a stopping point. We'll continue soon. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to give us a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe, as that helps us to make these videos possible. And be safe, friends. Thank you.